Good morning and welcome to Tuesday morning Zoom. I hope you guys are all doing good. Everything's fine here. We were just discussing that the weather's nasty, but other than that, everything's good. I think yesterday all day long was a day where I had to struggle, not even because I'm home. Don't go take a nap. Don't go take a nap because it was so nasty out in the rain. Okay, so our announcements. There's not going to be any Zoom on Thursday. The reason why is because I'm having my COVID test my COVID vaccination, my second one that day. And I don't know if y'all remember the last time I went and did that and tried to do Zoom right in the middle of Zoom, I went, I had a really hard time. So I'm not going to do any Zoom on Thursday. There will be something to take its place. The last day in class for the holidays is December the 17th. It's a Friday. So y'all complete that Friday and we'll return January the 3rd. That's 2 whole weeks. The sad news about that is I am going to give you a project over the holidays. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet. So if you have any ideas, please shoot me a text message or an email saying something that you might like to see as a project. We don't want anything too hard. I don't want anything that's too, well, I want it to be fun. And I also want it to be something that we have around the house because everybody knows at Christmas time, funds are low. Got 5 kids, even though they're all bigger, funds are low. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. I am ready for some ideas. And those are our announcements. So today we're going to do class a little bit differently. I bought a document webcam back in the summer, and I know that I told a lot of you about it, but we haven't had the opportunity to use it. So I am going to pull that out, or we are going to be using that to look at our ICD-10. So if you don't have your ICD-10, please get it now if you have it available. I know that you're at work, Diane, so you can just follow along. But yeah, we're going to do that. Then we're going to go to some coding and what your assignment will be. So how many of you have started reading chapter 4? Okay, chapter 4 is not very long. And I think it's a good read. It's one of the ones I enjoy reading. One of the things that we're going to be talking about as we go through our ICD-10 and code is the steps in accurate coding. Do you guys remember the lab assignment yesterday where I said, answer objective, I can't remember the numbers now, but one of them, what's the steps in accurate coding? Well, why is that important? Well, without realizing it, you're doing that every single time you code. So what's the first step? I have to figure out what my main term is because I have to know what to look up, right? So even though these are written down in a certain way, you're doing that every time you code. And I want you to make sure that you're following these steps. So it's identify the main term, you locate the term in the alphabetic index, and then you write it down and you're done. No, you don't write it down and you're done. You have to go to the tabular, right? Because we always code 2 ways. 2 ways. Look it up in the index, then we go to the tabular. And why do we go to the tabular? Well, because we need to make sure that we have the level of specificity that we need. So in the tabular, it can show you if you can use a code that's a little higher or whatever. It's being more specific. I have trouble with that word specificity. I don't like to say it. Okay, you're going to follow any cross-references instructions, verify the code, refer to any instructional notations in the tabular. What are those? Those are guidelines, right? And you can find guidelines in each section. Remember in the CPT book, we had guidelines before the chapter and in the chapter. In the ICD-10, we just have them in the chapter. They don't lay those out anywhere else. You're going to assign the code to the highest level of specificity and code the diagnosis until the elements are completely identified. So that means if you have 5 diagnoses, how many on your documentation, how many are you going to do? 5. If the doctor has put them on there, do 5. So I'm going to ask you this because we've talked about it before. How many do the how many does the insurance usually look at? They're paying close attention to your first 3. So if you have fever, diarrhea with bleeding, and a cough, what do you think would be the highest level there? What do you think would be the most important? You got to you got to unmute yourself.
Diarrhea with bleeding?
Yes, why? Because it's with bleeding. That's what makes that one the highest level. And then I would do the fever and then the cough. So some of these things you're not going to know right off the bat, but you'll figure it out very quickly. And a lot of times the doctor will number on a super bill. They want this one first, this one second, this one third. So a lot of the guesswork is going to be taken out of it for you. But I'm just telling you or explaining to you what those numbers are going to mean. They're going to mean, I want this one first, I want this one second, I want this one third. Being a coder for cardiology, sometimes my doctors would get confused about the way they were numbering it. They may have numbered COPD as 2 and hypertension as 1. COPD goes first, then hypertension, because it's a stronger code. And if you stop and you think about it, it's more concerning diagnosis wise. Okay, all right, so I am going to switch on my document cam and move around. I want you guys to be very verbal with me on if you can see this well or how you think can be adjusted, because remember, this is the first time we're using it. So I want to make sure that we get all the tips we can to make this better and better and better, okay?
Yes.
All right, now I got to fit my little chair behind this black table here. See, I'm here. All right, so this is our ICD-10, and we're just going to kind of start at the beginning. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have our table of contents first. Okay, this is something that I really want you guys to pay close attention to. You know, it includes, excludes, code first, use additional. These are detailed instructions on how to do that or what they mean. So if you actually forget, everything you need is actually in your manuals. It's about knowing where to go to find it. So this is the guide to using the 2020 ICD-10-CM for hospitals. So that is your includes, excludes, and things of that nature. Then you have your tabular symbols here. Those are usually found at the bottom of your page down here when you're coding in your tabular, but this gives a little bit more of a explanation. All right, I'm going to see if this, hang on. Is that better? Or is this better?
One's upside down for us and one's right side up.
Okay, so is this right side up?
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought so. Okay, so it has your stop sign, as we call it, your placeholder. It has detailed explanations here for all of those things. So you have the key at the bottom of your page, but this is going to give detailed explanations. Then you have symbols and conventions and examples to go along with that. These are all updates. Next. I've never used the updates for any reason, but if you can figure out a way you think that you might use them, that would be great. And they are pretty extensive. Okay, and then you come to page 1, and it's the introduction. It talks about your punctuations, which are your brackets. So lots and lots of detailed information here. I think a lot of the information that's here is also in the first few pages I just showed you. And then we have anatomy that starts on page 51. If I can't remember where something is, or I want to remember for a particular code something, I make notes in my anatomy portion. Remember, these are your books, so you can make a note anywhere you want to. So if you get stuck, say, needing to know where something is, you can always refer to your anatomy and make notes. This is my favorite. I love the eyeball. I don't know why. Okay, and then after your anatomy is our alphabetic index. And we know how to use that, right? We've been doing that. This is how I do my ICD-10, guys. I buy these little tabs. I do not buy the paper ones. I buy the ones that are a little bit thicker plastic because they will hold on better that way. And I just alphabetize. I put the, the letter that goes with, whatever's at the top of my page. So F's are here. And so if I need to look up cough or I need to look up fatigue, I just go to the F. So I do the same with my tabular list. So if I need to go to D10, I can open it up and go to D10. So I don't have to hunt through so much. I just have to look at the alphabet. Does that make sense? Okay. So after, I wanted to also show you that I have disease right here because we use disease so much. Remember, it says go to condition, just go ahead and go to disease because that's where it's going to take you anyway. So I want to know where disease is all the time. All right, so after our index, page 467, is your table of neoplasms. Now, this may look scary, but it is not. When you begin to code cancer, you're going to want to know where this is. And again, I have mine labeled. The next table is drugs and chemistry. That will be used when we get to that part of things. So, and it's pretty extensive. Then on page 591, I have our external cause index. That's like grandma fell down the stairs at home alone. That's how detailed these codes get. And then you move on in your, hang on a minute. Yeah, then you're in your tabular. I wanted to show you also, I think I've showed you this before, but I actually highlight my different sections. But I wanted to show you, we're starting some sepsis next week. And we're going to be using sepsis a lot. So I have labeled sepsis. And then I went ahead and I highlighted my whole sepsis portion. So I'm going to go back and make little notes beside to what it is, like sepsis due to streptococcus group A. I want to really get to know this portion because that's where I'm going to be coding from. So I'm going to encourage you to use the bubble and highlight method, especially on well-traveled parts, because you're going to remember where it is. And yes, we can use our index, but if you really know where it is, like sepsis, and know where it is and know what it is, I'm just going to go straight there. You know what I mean? It's going to take out the looking in the index. I don't have to worry about scrolling through and whatever. Can we do that with everything? No, we can definitely do it with sepsis. Okay, so any questions about the ICD-10?
Nope.
Okay. So did this look good? Did this work well?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. We're not done using it yet. We're going to do some coding here shortly, and then I'll come back to it. Okay. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about the steps to accurate coding? You've been coding for a minute, so you know the steps, right?
Right.
We don't want to skip a step. Remember, we always code 2 ways. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Hang on. Okay, so I have some funny ICD-10 codes. Falling asleep in the tanning bed. Yep, there's a code for that. Hot chocolate, burn of mouth and pharynx initial encounter. So there is a code for burning your mouth with hot chocolate. Okay, this one is hilarious to me. Carrot stuck in the left ear. And you guys notice the placeholders here, XX. And our A means initial encounter, but isn't that hilarious? I thought that was funny.
Thank goodness it didn't happen to him more than once.
Well, let's hope it's not a subsequent encounter in there anywhere. But he could have a sequela, right? What can you think of that? Maybe a sequela to him being injured by getting a carrot stuck in his ear.
An ear infection.
Ear infection, hearing loss, things like that. And then, of course, Charlie Brown, fall while decorating the Christmas tree. But again, I want you to take a look at your placeholders, X, 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 A. Talked about those placeholders, right? Okay, so we are going to code. Now I have to figure out how to get this up on my side and use the other webcam. So bear with me, okay? I don't know if I can, guys. All right, well, let's just go with it. We're just going to code. I'm not going to be able to use the document camera for this. Okay, so our first one is abscess of the tonsil. So what is our key term there, ladies?
Abscess.
Abscess.
Okay, so abscess. Pay attention to the spelling because earlier I was looking for ABC. I was like, no, there's an S before that. So abscess of what?
The tonsil.
It's on page 946.
Thank you. I don't have the 2021. I'm in the 2020. So.
Oh.
Okay, I have my answer. Let me know when you're ready. Don't shout it out. Hi, Jasmine. I hadn't spoken to you yet. How are you doing?
Okay.
Sorry about that. I clicked over before I saw you.
Stop.
Miss Elise, how you doing? Roblin, how we doing?
Doing okay.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm on it.
He always overpushes the eggs. Explain, please.
Found something.
Okay, Miss Roblin, what did you get for your code for the abscess of the tonsil?
Was it J36?
Who agrees?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay, let's take a look at, so J36, does it say tonsil, the abscess of the tonsil?
Under, when it say includes.
Includes abscess of the tonsil. That is a great catch. But it says paratonsillar abscess beside the code, right?
Yes.
So it includes abscess of the tonsil, paratonsillar cellulitis, and quinsy, whatever that is. And then it shows us also in the yellow, use additional code to identify infectious agent. So we don't have an infectious agent to identify, but if we did, it actually points us into B95 through B97. So it's given us a place to go, right?
Right.
Then it's going to exclude acute tonsillitis, and it gives us where to start if we need acute tonsillitis. Chronic tonsillitis, the next one, and then tonsillitis not otherwise specified. So it actually really does give us a lot of pointers if that's not what we need, right? So always pay attention to what's around your codes. All right, so let's move to number 2, unstable angina. So what do we think our key term is going to be? Angina, right?
Angina, yeah.
Yeah, angina. Where did Kelly go? Who's my student that says Unitech 1?
I think I have it.
Okay, Jasmine, what did you get?
I have I 20.0.
Okay, coders, who else has that?
I did.
I did.
Okay, that's absolutely right. That's perfect. But if we look under I 20.0, you see a whole list of things that we could use that code for. Not just one specific thing, but several different things. Okay, benign neoplasm of the larynx. So I'm going to go to my neoplasm table. I haven't used it in a hot minute, so it may take me a second. If you guys want to go the regular way, go ahead and go the regular way, but I'm going to see if I can navigate this. Okay, I did find mine in the neoplasm table, but I'm going to just go with it into the tabular. So did anybody find where you needed to go, or did you all get to go see also table of neoplasms? Are y'all using the index, or are you using the table?
I'm using the index.
Yeah, when I went, it told me to go to the table.
Okay.
So remember, the first table is right behind the index. It's right after the letter Z. Okay, once you get there, you're going to look at the very top. It says table of neoplasms, and it has the A word, aponeurosis. You're just going to continue to look at that until you come to your L's. You're going to find one that says larynx, laryngeal, NEC. Let me I'm going to stop the share, and then I'm going to change to my other camera. Okay, so I'm at my table and I'm looking at larynx, laryngeal, or not elsewhere classified. So if you go to your neoplasm table, you're going to look at the top that says aponeurosis, and then you're just going to follow. This is ciliary, so we know we have to keep going until we see the L's. Gingiva. And then I finally came to my L's, which says larynx, laryngeal. Let me know when you guys see that.
Yeah, I see it. My son is just screaming. I can't get
Okay,
in.
can you tell us what page, Jasmine?
It is page 490. Well, the
Okay.
first one, the first L starts on 489. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just go to 490, ladies. Once you get to 490, you're going to look over in the little blue. It's like blue and white and blue and white and blue and white. Mine is on the first line. It says larynx, laryngeal, NEC. And then you have C32.9, which is malignant. We don't need that one. C78.39, which is malignant secondary. We don't need that one. D02.0, in situ. We don't need that one. And then D14.1 is benign. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's our answer, D14.1. But do we stop there or do we go ahead and check it in our tabular, right? So I'm going to go to D14.1. It says benign neoplasm of larynx. So the answer is going to be D14.1. You see it, Miss Elise?
Not quite. I got the D49.1.
No, this is D14.1.
Okay. I have it.
Benign neoplasm of the larynx. Now,
Right.
you know, the table is a little bit tricky, but guys, it's going to be really easy once we start working in the cancer chapter, okay? We're going to get more practice, I promise. Okay, so let's do benign herpes zoster without complications. Can you guys can only see that. So let me switch back real quick. I'm sorry, I have to switch webcams back and forth in order for you guys to see. Okay, so herpes zoster without complications. Okay, so I chose herpes as my key term. Once I went to herpes, I went to zoster. So when I go to Zoster, I don't see without complications. But remember, usually that's our basic code. If it's not complicated, it's going to be that basic code. So who knows what code we need to go to? Have you guys found Zoster under herpes?
I haven't.
Yeah, and it's also saying C condition, but it gives you BO 2.9.
Right. Well, don't pay any attention to see also condition. You could go to condition, but you don't really need to. If you needed
Yeah,
something
okay,
more
so
solid, you could. So why don't we check out that code
B0.
B02.9? Let's check that one out and see what we think. So who thinks B02.9 is the correct answer?
I think so because it's in Zoster without complication.
Right. So what is B02.8? What does that one say?
Or with other complications.
So we have to, well, we don't really have to choose because we know it's without complications. So that makes our choice very simple. The answer is B02.9. Miss Elise, do you see B02.9?
I'm still looking.
It's on page 667.
Okay, I went through.
I just have a lot on my mind.
You're leaving.
Here.
Okay, I have it.
So we were looking at the 0.8 right above it, and that's with complications, but our
Right.
answer is B02.9 because we were without complications. Okay, so our last coding scenario for today is acute stress reaction. Okay, so who looked up stress first?
I did.
And so what did it tell you to do?
When I looked, well, I'm still on it. So when I looked up stress, I see where it says reaction, and it says reaction stress. And then now it's going to go to the code that was listed.
Okay, you can, but I'm going to tell you that's not the right code. It's not far off. But if you
Okay.
see in between there, it says see also reaction stress. So if I go to reaction stress, and it gives me acute, and I have my code right there. But you can go the other way. You just have to read.
Okay, now I see it.
So if you would have went with that first code, Jasmine, it says reaction to severe stress unspecified. But it is specified, it's acute. So that's what, that we have to look for. And that's what brings us to that ICD-10 code that's further up.
So is it F43.0?
Yes, ma'am. Yay, that's right. Awesome job. Did everybody get F43.0? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So one last thing to show you for the day.
Darkness and strife and more sheets.
So, oh goodness. This is going to be your assignment. Now, please don't fret. This is already loaded there for you, so you already have it on Jenzabar. But we're going to be filling in the blanks with the tabular sections that each of these things belong to. Now, my suggestion would be that you take each of like A00 through B99. I would just simply go to A00. So A00, right above it, it tells us what it is. So it tells us intestinal infectious disease, A00 through A09. Now, this says A00 through B99. So you could go to B99 and make sure that you're still in the correct spot. And B99 says other and unspecified infectious disease. So number 3, your answer is A00 through B99. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're just looking, it's just getting you in those sections and telling you what each of them are about. That is your assignment for today. Did you guys learn something?
Yeah.
The more we do it, the easier it gets. And thank goodness that we started those little practice classes a few times where we did ICD-10, huh? I think that made you all feel a little more confident. All right, ladies, have a wonderful day. Let me know if you need anything. And remember, no Zoom on Thursday, but I am here if you need anything. If we need to do a personal Zoom or whatever, just let me know.
Okay.
What did we think
All
about
right.
the document camera?
That was good.
It's helpful.
Yeah, I just have to figure out a way to get the coding scenarios to show while I'm doing it on the ICD-10. because I don't like, I may have to send like a document or something ahead of time with the coding practice on it. So you can have that off to the side so that we can just have the document reader on. All right. Well, it was wonderful to see you guys. My favorite time of day is when I get to spend time with y'all. It really is. I always get butterflies right before we get on. Y'all see me excited when I'm here, yay, because I get to see you, spend time with you. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Let me know if
You
you need.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay.